Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to take a closer look, maybe a fresh look, at a band that really seems to push the boundaries of, well, musical genres. We're diving deep into the world of 21 Pilots.
Yeah, it's actually pretty remarkable when you think about it. 21 Pilots, just this duo, and they've become really known for blending hip hop, pop, and rock so seamlessly. It gives them the sound that's, very much their own thing in music today.
And what I find particularly captivating about their music, really,
Yeah.
is how it speaks so directly to those growing pains, the kind of universal stuff we all go through. It feels very grounded,
Yeah.
reality-driven. And I think that's helped them build this incredibly loyal following.
Mm-hmm.
Combine that sort of honest storytelling with just undeniable talent and a stage presence that feels, well, like they've been doing it for ages.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got a pretty powerful mix there for connection and success.
And what's really interesting, there's a story from their early days. The band actually shared a stage once with ASAP Rocky. Now, back when the article we're looking at was written, Rocky was definitely, the more established name.
Right.
But apparently, 21 Pilots put on such a cohesive, impactful performance. It genuinely stunned pretty much everyone there.
Wow, that really says something about their stagecraft, even back then. So for this deep dive, we're using an article from 10mosttoday.com. It's called 10 Most Incredible 21 Pilot Songs, and it came out February 1st, 2017. Our mission really is to kind of unpack the why. What makes these specific tracks so incredible? How do they really show off the band's unique art?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be looking at how their songs manage to balance these deep, relatable themes with melodies that are just, super catchy.
Yeah.
We want to offer you a bit of a shortcut, maybe, to understanding their impact on music. So let's get into it.
Absolutely. And if we're talking about connecting with people, we probably have to start with a track that really put them on the mainstream map in a huge way, Stressed Out.
Yeah.
That song just resonated so widely, it taps right into that anxiety, moving from being young into adulthood.
Right. It's almost like this anthem for anyone who looks back at childhood feeling, well, nostalgic, but also kind of regretting the pressures of growing up. But how did they manage that? Take something so introspective, almost kind of downbeat, and turn it into a massive pop hit.
Well, that's where that genre fusion really comes into play. They put these really raw, kind of vulnerable lyrics about struggling with being an adult. Things like, wishing you could turn back time to the good old days. They pair that with a beat that's just impossible not to move to. Josh Dunn's drumming is so crisp, and then Tyler Joseph's rapping. It's fast, almost conversational. That gives it the hip-hop feel, but the chorus melody, that's pure pop. It's catchy. So it creates this, accessible way to deliver some pretty complex feelings, makes it relatable and something you want to listen to again and again.
That makes total sense. The rhythm pulls you in, and then the message kind of keeps you there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, speaking of messages, another huge one from the list, Heathens, showed a really different side, didn't it? Especially being tied to the Suicide Squad soundtrack. How did that song fit such a specific movie context, but also just become a huge radio song on its own?
Heathens is clever. It takes on this almost empathetic voice, like it's mediating. The lyrics are sort of encouraging you to understand the outsiders, the strange ones, which, fit the film's characters perfectly.
Mm.
Musically, it's got this dark, kind of brooding vibe. That vocal hook is pretty haunting. But it's built on this sparse beat, almost hypnotic, that really draws you in. It feels both playfully unsettling and super memorable at the same time.
That balance again.
Exactly. It's that mix of a spooky, almost carnival-like tune with lyrics that are genuinely a bit eerie. That's what makes it work so well.
They really do seem to have a talent for that, taking something maybe a bit dark or dismal and making it, well, easy for lots of people to connect with. Okay, let's talk about a track that fans often point to for its, raw emotion. Car Radio from Vessel. It feels incredibly personal, almost like you're hearing someone's internal thoughts. How does that become a dynamic song?
Car Radio is such a great example of how they build tension, huge tension, and then just release it. It really mirrors that internal fight Tyler Joseph talks about in the lyrics.
Yeah.
The song's about that discomfort of silence, right? Being alone with your thoughts when maybe you don't want to be.
Right.
Musically, it starts really stripped back, almost minimal. Just that sort of somber piano and whispered vocals, but then it builds slowly, but, relentlessly, into this massive, almost anthemic rock chorus. The drums kick in so suddenly, so powerfully, and the vocals get really passionate. It transforms that quiet desperation into this huge outcry. It's like finding your voice in the middle of chaos. That dramatic shift is what hits so hard.
You can really feel that. that move from quiet thought to, like, eruption.
And speaking of big shifts, Ode to Sleep is one that truly shows their boundary-pushing style. It sounds almost like two completely separate tracks just stuck together. What's going on there, musically?
Oh, that's just their genius, really. Ode to Sleep is a masterclass in duality. One second, you're getting hit with this really aggressive, high-energy rap rock thing. Pounding drums, urgent vocals, tackling these mental struggles head-on.
Yeah, intense. Then, almost out of nowhere, boom, it shifts completely. Suddenly, it's this melodic, almost calm, pop-driven part. Softer singing, more airy synths. And they don't ease into it. They deliberately kind of jolt you from one sound to the other.
Why do that, though? Is it just shock value?
I don't think so. I mean, yeah, it's jarring, but that stark contrast brilliantly illustrates the song's themes, you know?
Yeah.
That internal push and pull, it shows how totally different, even opposing thoughts or feelings can exist side by side in one person's mind, or in this case, in one song.
Huh. It's like hearing an argument happening inside your own head, but set to music. You really start to see how much thought, how much intention goes into their songwriting and how they put the tracks together.
Exactly. It's not just random. Every shift, every genre blend seems to serve a purpose, whether it's narrative or emotional.
So as we kind of wrap up our deep dive into 21 Pilots here, it feels abundantly clear that their mastery really lies in that bold genre mixing. And just as much in their ability to consistently make music that connects so personally, exploring those, universal growing pains we talked about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whether you look at the big release of Stressed Out, or the sort of empathy in Heathens, or that raw journey in Car Radio, or even the crazy duality of Ode to Sleep, the band just keeps pushing things. Their skill in blending fast rapping with complex drumming, or making one song feel like two different worlds, it really proves their artistry.
Yeah.
And connecting it back, songs like Stressed Out didn't just get popular. They really cemented 21 Pilots as this band that breaks boundaries and creates massive hits. They did that while staying incredibly authentic, which is pretty rare.
It really does make you think about the power music has.
Yeah.
To just ignore the usual boxes, the categories, and connect so deeply with people, especially when it feels as honest and exploratory as what 21 Pilots does.
Which, leaves us with a really interesting question for you to think about. In a music world that often loves clear genres, how did 21 Pilots pull it off? How did they manage to not only successfully fuse hip-hop, pop, and rock, but also score huge chart success, like with Stressed Out? And how did they do all that while keeping such a deep, reality-driven connection with their fans through songs that tap into those universal growing pains?